The first subsidy is gone.
Those were the words of President Bola Tinubu used in his inaugural address on May 29, 2023, a statement that would immediately set the tone for one of the biggest economic policy changes Nigeria had seen in years. And from that moment, Nigerians knew that things were about to change. But what followed was a painful reality for millions of Nigerians. The price of petrol, which had been selling for less than 300 per litre in many parts of the country, began to rise sharply. At one point, petrol prices climbed to around 700 per litre and beyond in some locations. Transport fares went up, the cost of food increased, businesses faced higher operating costs, and for many Nigerian households, the pressure on their finances became increasingly difficult to manage. The Tinubu administration has consistently defended the decision to remove fuel subsidy, arguing that the policy was too expensive and the money could be better deployed to other areas of the economy. But the subsidy debate has refused to go away. In fact, it has become one of the major political and economic issues Nigerians continue to debate. And one politician who has been particularly vocal about it is former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar has repeatedly criticized the manner in which the subsidy was removed and has argued that the government should have handled the process differently. At one point, he even said if elected president, he would consider restoring fuel subsidy because of the hardship Nigerians have experienced. That position has put him directly at odds with President Tinubu. Tinubu has criticized the idea of returning to the old subsidy regime, defending his decision and questioning the economic wisdom of going back to a policy his administration believes was unsustainable.
Let's look at the trajectory of the history. I saw one of my opponents now say he will go back to subsidy. I read it. That is demonstration of a serious ignorance on governance and economy. Before I came here, 27 states are unable to pay salaries. Not to even talk of pensioners, salary of workers. In your state, I know a man that raised, who is nicknamed half salary. They come to the federal, cap in hand, unable to do anything. The salary you pay feeds families. Where are the local governments? They are in the states. Where are the concentration of population? They are in the states. Take out the president. Regard every other person as common men. They have families to feed. The infrastructure you embark upon, on the road network, housing, school rehabilitation, hospital, healthcare pronouncements, resuscitation of healthcare, training of teachers, training.
But despite the criticism, Atiku has remained firm.
This afternoon or this evening, so many Nigerians have been calling me to say that, you know, one of my press aides had contradicted me in my policy statement as far as subsidy is concerned. I want to repeat categorically that what I said, I will return subsidy, I will. And Nigeria is rich enough to look after the welfare of its citizens. Therefore, let it be clearly stated that he was not speaking on my own authority, because the removal of subsidy has driven more Nigerians into poverty than at any other time in the history of this country.
Just days after the renewed criticism of the fuel subsidy policy, Tinubu has announced a measure aimed at reducing one of the biggest consequences Nigerians have faced since fuel prices increased: the cost of transportation. During a meeting with governors, Tinubu announced plans for transport fares to be reduced across the country from October 1st. The announcement immediately generated reactions because while cheaper transportation is something many Nigerians desperately want, the question people are asking is, how exactly will this work? Can transport fares really come down across the country, and what mechanism will make that possible? For Nigerians who spend a significant part of their income on transportation every day, this is not just a political announcement, it is an issue that affects their pockets directly, and that is why the reaction online has been mixed. Some people welcome the idea, arguing that anything that can reduce the burden on Nigerians should be encouraged. Others are skeptical. But Atiku is not the only opposition figure who has criticized the removal of fuel subsidy. Sowore has consistently maintained that the subsidy removal was problematic and has described the policy as fraudulent. He reiterated his position during a recent event, arguing that Nigerians have been made to bear the consequences of a policy he strongly disagrees with.
The question about subsidy is, who are you subsidizing? You are subsidizing the elite, you are subsidizing the governors. The only people who are doing well since they removed subsidy are the governors of states. And when they talk about subsidy, they make it sound like they have not removed subsidy before. I was a student in 1989, they removed subsidy. In 1996, they removed subsidy. They said Nigeria will be better. We are in 2026, they are still removing subsidy. They are robbing Peter Obi to pay Bola Tinubu. That is what the removal of subsidy is all about.
Then there is Peter Obi, the former Labour presidential candidate, who has also repeatedly criticized the manner in which the subsidy was removed. Obi's argument has not necessarily been that Nigeria should simply continue with the old system indefinitely. Rather, he has questioned the process and the economic consequences of removing the subsidy without what he considers adequate measures to cushion the impact on Nigerians.
And I campaigned that I will remove it. And I've said it every day, that within the subsidy, there was a criminal or corruption side of it, which you needed to eliminate in order to know the actual subsidy and go about in a gradual, organized removal and replacement with investment in other areas. By the way, we're still paying that subsidy. From what is happening now, they just called it a different name, because they're now talking about 7 trillion on the recovery or prone recovery or whatever name they call it. So they actually still doing something that nobody can imagine, even when the fuel has gone up 7 times. If you